Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to learn about the async-await in iOS shift. You see this async-await which was introduced in iOS 15, which was newly introduced. And if you want to use with iOS async shift, we just want the latest Xcode of Xcode 13. So basically, this async shift is used to do a single or multiple asynchronous operation, and this is actually somewhat like what Apple considered is like it's somewhat replacement of the callbacks in shift. So you see, like when you were doing in some API calls, we used to prefer and callbacks, and we used to wait for the callbacks to return a value. Once it return a value, we just reload the table view and we just do whatever purpose we need for when doing then callbacks. So to replace the callbacks, here we introduce an async await. So this is going to be a very replacement and very useful for the developers who are going to doing their replacement of callbacks to this async await. So here we go. This is the definition of the async await. So like I just said, like this is going to be a replacement of callback. So what it's going to do? So basically, when we are doing an API calls, we just use an callbacks. So if you are doing an callbacks means at that time the APIs there is a many disadvantages are there, such as the line of the code is very many when comparing to the one which we are going to do, and the readability of the program is very complicated. Uh, when in terms of async shift, it's async awaits, it's not something like that. It is very easy and easy to read. So that's something which is advantageous when comparing to the callbacks manner. I hope so. And like some advantages of async wait is like there is a minimal number of line and it is very easy to understand. So it replaced the what and all disadvantages that callbacks have. It replaced the things, and it's acted as an advantages over this async await. And there are some other cases where we can use as a replacement of the callback, that is like actor. So let's see one by one, and you can work around with it. Okay, so first let us take an example with the callback, and after that we can replace the callback with async await. So for that, what I did is like I just take and created a function. So this is the function. This get the user list of using the callback method. So this is actually basically a API call which is going to get the list of users through this URL. This is a get API call. So here I have done like with the help of URL session, I am just passing the URL and getting the data and response over there. If the data is or error is there, means I am just completing with a failure. If it is there, and I have just added an uh, codable structure for my model which has ID, name and username, etc, etc. So I just utilize this username, and if everything goes well, I just return it as a success. In case if the user is nil or something went wrong, means I'm just returning the empty array. So how we used to call the callbacks method is, here we go. So we just call this get user method, and in the completion we just create an result type. Though it is a result type, I'm just taking as a result. So usually result type has two types of return. One is success and another one is failure. As you know, you are very well known with the result type. So I'm just going for the switch cases of the result type. So for the case success, I'm taking the user and users and printing the value in the users. Next, coming to the failure case, let error. So in case if any failure occur, means I'm just returning the error and just printing out the errors. Here we go. So that's it. So this is the something which is a very common methodology which every developers will do. So okay, I just missed the semicolon. Okay, yes, I just missed the colon. So here we go. This is, I just call that method in the view did load, and once I get the output, I'm just printing that user list into the console. If I get any failure, I just print out the error in the localization description. So this is something which is very common usage of when we doing for an API call. So let me run the code, and let's check whether the output is coming or not. Okay, yes, as you see, like we can able to see the list of array which is having the elements of id and id number 2, id number 3, etc, etc. So the program was working well. So here we just get the output based on the callbacks. So to overcome this callback, there is actually something very disadvantages over here. So like you see, like if you want to do this API call for many times, I mean like for multiple number of times, consider in that such a way, like if you want to get any detailed input of a user, you just want to do another API call, and after that you want to do another API call. So consider in that manner. So what we usually do is like we just use and wait for the success, and we just do another API call, and after getting an response we just get the value from the another API call. So this is actually a second API call, and after that in the second API call success we are doing another API call which is a third API call. So I know like this is going to be a retain cycle. I just want to be made it as an weak self. So weak self, yes. So here also I just made it as a weak self. So instead of normal self, I'm just making as an optional to maintain the retain cycle. So here we go. So I just made a three types of API calls over here. So when I do done some three API calls, the readability of the program is very difficult. I don't know what's happening when I'm not having this particular comments. So to overcome this only, async-await has been introduced, and it is very simple. So let's see that afterwards. So this to overcome this particular situation only, the async-await was introduced. So let me comment it out this, and let me create a new function which is going to have an with the help of async-await method. Wait method. Okay. So I'm just going to call and function get user list using async wait. Okay. So this is actually a function. So I'm just going to do an API call. For that, I'm just taking this cardlet and just going to create an value for my data and my for my response, and going to get the value over the type URL session dot shared dot data task. Okay, so to do this async wait, we just want to confirm our return type as an async throws. So this throw is going to return a type like user element list. So once I have just made it as this particular function is going to return an async throw for the user list, it's just going to return a list of users in a throw manner. Okay, so we can handle the error in do catch. So let me take, and here we are having an data task for data from. Here we just want to utilize this particular method when we are using an async await. So I'm just passing the URL, and the delegate I currently I don't want nil. So in the return type we cannot directly return, instead I'm just throwing the error, throw error network error dot bad URL. So this network error is an enum which I have written, and I'm just having a two case. One is for bad URL and another one is for bad result. So I've just listed out the throws the error, and here we go. So whenever you use for an async awaits, we just want to confirm this URL to the async await. So for that I'm just going to create and try, and I'm just having this here, and this particular keyword is used to tells the compiler that this particular function is going to wait for the async, and it's going to done in a different thread, and it won't make the compiler to wait for the threads to complete. That I will explain now. So then after like we just going to get usage of this particular thing, and I'm just taking the data as the thing and returning the error here, returns users. If the user is nil, I'm just going to return an empty array. Here we go. Okay, so this, as I told you, like this is an simple manner which we can use, and yes, like the response is not used, so that I'm just using going to use for the underscore symbol. So this await keyword, it tells the compiler that this particular section is going to be an asynchronous call. So whenever a compile comes to this await keyword, this immediately stop that thread and it's going to be run in a different thread, and whatever threads which is whatever task which is assigning doing that case, it won't affects the UI parts. So the UI parts will be working in a very good manner, and in a background thread this particular thread will go on, and once the thread is completed, once it gets the result, it's come back to the same thread. So for that, this particular awaits is used. So let me take this. So here it won't affects the main thread, so the UI will work without any slack. Excuse me, slack. Okay, here we go. So that's all. You see, like for writing an API call using an callback or closure method, I have just written this many lines of codes, but for writing and using an async-await, it tells like it's very simple. You can see like there is a minimal amount of lines which we have used, and it is very easy to readable. So this is then something like which we have seen in an initial stage itself. So there is a minimal number of code and easy to understand. So that's it. So next, coming to the multiple asynchronous call. So how we have to call this? So like there is something interesting, you can watch it now. So if I go and call this particular get user list async await, this actually throws an error like async await used in a context that does not support a concurrency. It intimates like this particular method is meant for the async await, so that this task cannot be done in a normal function like view did load or something else. This has to be enclosed within the task. So that's a thing which you have to understand in mind. So what we have to do this API call, we need to create a task. So inside the task we need to embed this. So we can use do whatever it is. So I'm just taking an user. So this user is going to give an get user list from async array. This time the compiler doesn't send any error because this is under the task and enclosed under the task. So I'm just going and also most importantly, you just want to keep this keyword when you are doing for an async wait. So this is actually a one, and after that I'm just going to print the user in a catch block. In a catch block, I am just going to print the error dot description, local description. Yes, here we go. So let me run the code and explain you again. Yes, that's all. It's very simple. You see, so it's going to get the task and it returns the value whatever the elements presented in the array, and it is very simple. You see, if I am not having its await keyword, means the compiler is going to throw an error like this particular method is marked as an async, so that we just want to intimate the compiler that it's have to wait. So for that only we are just keeping this await. Okay, so as it said, like this is very simple. So we can able to retrieve the value very easily, and most importantly, you see, like here I have just done a multiple number of API calls, and it is very difficult to understand. Let's consider this as same part in an this manner in async wait. So I'm just going to do another API call. I'm just going to print all the second and third API calls. So that's it. So there is no there is no complication over here, and output is very easier, and the readability of the program is very easier, and everything is easy. You see. Yes, I've just got the three response from the compiler. First response for the user, and second response for the user 1, and third response for the user 3. So I've done a three different API calls, but the compiler doesn't. The readability of the program is very easier. So this is the most advantages of this async wait. And you can work around with this, and you can play around with this. You can replace the older callback method, and you can continue with this async wait. It's very easy. That's it. So the last and foremost point which we need to think is like actor. So with the help of the actor also we can do this particular API call. So I've just created another video for this actor. I'll just add it in this description. You just check it out. If the video is very useful for you, just hit a like button and share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a great day. Bye bye.